I've been to and captured a few beautiful places in my time. I've been to New York City, Chicago, Hawaii, South Florida, the East Coast. I've made videos about Annapolis, beautiful town, various parts of California, Seattle, Arizona. I've been to the Grand Canyon. I've been to a giant crater. I've been to Idaho, which is actually very beautiful and surprising in its landscape capacities. I live in Salt Lake City. I've been all across Utah. Mountains, deserts, forests, salt flats. I've been outside the US, went to Costa Rica, the Bahamas, lived on a sailboat for a few days, Haiti. But my friends, the most beautiful place that I have been is called Moab. Moab is a small desert town in Utah surrounded by giant red rock walls. It's nuts. The whole area has this red rocks, Mars kind of landscape. It's a very dramatic landscape, lots of verticality. It's a very bizarre landscape. It has giant arches. This is Corona Arch. It's 105 feet tall. Beautiful overlooks. It's very open. One time I was there, it rained and the cliffs sprouted waterfalls. I thought that was great. It's cool because you can start in the town and make your way out in different directions and kind of choose your adventure. The Colorado River, it's weird saying that on video, Colorado. The Colorado River cuts right through town. You have these bananas cliffs on either side of the river. It's a stunning place that makes me feel a certain way. It makes me feel relaxed, yet energized. I am a very complex person. There's a lack of crowds. It's a place that feels very tucked away. It's not complete wilderness. It's not like a really small town with just one stoplight. I don't know how many stoplights are there. Probably not many. I find that I don't prefer absolute nowhere places. I like civilization. Surprise, a street photographer likes civilization. There's a little hopping town, but it's tucked away amidst giant red cliffs in the middle of the Utah desert. There are interesting, cool people to be found. And when I say cool, I mean they're laid back. They're outdoorsy people, and outdoorsy people are always laid back and cool and just kind of going with the flow. They're having a good time, which is the complete opposite of many city folk. There's something about hanging out in the great outdoors that mellows people out. And also they're a lot of times they're doing challenging things, and that's really good for the mind, good for the attitude. And that's another thing. There are a lot of activities to capture in Moab. You have people climbing, you have people cycling, you have people doing motorsports stuff. I'm probably missing something. I bet there's some paragliders to be found. Oh, hiking. Great place to hike, by the way. A lot of them are fairly flat. You know, you're not necessarily hiking to the top of Mount Ginormous, and they're fairly shady. There's water to, you know, walk through and play in and drink at your own risk. I think it's fairly clean. I'm not sure. I haven't done any amoeba tests. Anyway, when it comes to activities, I'm sure I did not fully squeeze the lemon, which brings me to my next point. I love places that feel like limitless playgrounds. New York City is that. Salt Lake City was that for me. Moab is that. And then afterwards you can come back into town, hop by a cafe for some coffee, relax a little bit, and then go back out. Good times. There's also interesting vehicles. Lots of people living in their, Sprinter vans, which they may have kitted out, or buses, dune buggies, Jeeps, fun stuff. Now, in terms of the gear that I would be taking out to Moab, I was looking through my Lightroom catalog today. I saw Sony A7 Mark III. I would probably bring along a Sony A7S Mark III today. I'm pointing at the camera that I'm filming at. With Sony A6400, Sony A6500, a couple of those. The A6400 sort of replaced that A6500 for me, but still a great camera. I took a lot of photos with my phone, which can work well in an environment like Moab. You have these wide scenes, pretty deep depth of field, so you're not going to be running into shallow depth of field issues. You have plenty of light, assuming you're shooting in the day. It suits itself well to that type of thing. In terms of lenses, I saw 24 to 70 millimeters. I saw 16 to 35 millimeters. It works well for those focal ranges because you might want to capture a wide scene. There's plenty of beauty to capture. There's a lot that you're going to want to let in and not necessarily cut out. You might want to push in a little bit more to capture more detail. A telephoto can also work well in a place like Moab for certain shots. And of course you can capture Moab at different times of day with different light, different conditions. Sometimes it snows in Moab. And you know me, I've also walked up to complete strangers and asked if I can take their photo. And I've also placed products in their hand when I was doing product photography. So Moab is a wonderful place, and it's a stunning part of creation. And as a Christian, I don't stop at the creation. I draw my attention to God, the creator. I have such an appreciation for this place and how it moves me, and I've had a good time capturing it, and I hope to go back someday. But yeah, do you guys have a most beautiful place that you've been? I'd love to hear about it. Please feel free to comment below. If you enjoyed this video, if you want to hit the like button, I would appreciate that tremendously. And if you want to hit the subscribe button, I would of course appreciate that as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day. I love you. Goodbye.